They built monuments that touched the sky and tombs meant to last forever. Yet even the gods could not save their empire from time. The Egyptian Empire, a civilization older than Rome, greater than legend. From the banks of the Nile, they mastered architecture, astronomy, and the art of eternal life. But behind the glory of the pharaohs lies a story of faith, ambition, and the unrelenting pursuit of immortality. If history is a river, Egypt was its first great current. Every year, the Nile River flooded its banks, spreading black, fertile soil across a desert land. The Egyptians called it Kemet, the Black Land, and from it, life was born. Around 3100 BCE, two kingdoms, Upper and Lower Egypt, were united under a single crown by King Narmer. This was the beginning of the First Dynasty, and one of the longest continuous civilizations in human history. From the very start, the Egyptians believed their kings were not just rulers, but gods on earth. This divine power would shape every temple, every law, and every dream of eternity. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BCE, was Egypt's golden dawn, an era of great building and divine kingship. At its heart stood one man's vision, Pharaoh Khufu, who commissioned the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. It took tens of thousands of workers, decades of labor, and astonishing precision, aligning with the stars themselves. To the Egyptians, this was not a tomb, it was a stairway to the heavens. Pharaohs like Djoser and Khafre followed, leaving behind colossal monuments to immortality. But as pyramids grew larger, so did the cost, in wealth, labor, and human suffering. Eventually, even gods ran out of resources. After centuries of power, Egypt fractured. Weak rulers, famine, and internal strife brought the Old Kingdom to its knees. The once great empire splintered into rival cities, each claiming the right to rule. But from chaos came renewal. New pharaohs rose from the south, determined to restore the land of the Nile to its former glory. Around 2050 BCE, Mentuhotep II reunited Egypt, marking the start of the Middle Kingdom. This was a time of balance. Art flourished, literature blossomed, and trade reached distant lands. Pharaohs became shepherds of their people, not just divine rulers. Yet, even as Egypt thrived, its borders were fragile. New invaders, the Hyksos, a foreign people with horse-drawn chariots, swept into the delta, seizing power and humbling the pharaohs. Egypt had fallen into foreign hands, but not for long. When Egypt rose again, it rose higher than ever before. The New Kingdom, 1550 to 1070 BCE, was the age of empire, conquest, and colossal monuments. Pharaohs like Ahmose I expelled the Hyksos and rebuilt Egypt's strength. Then came the warrior kings, Thutmose III, who expanded Egypt's reach to the Euphrates River, and Ramses II, Ramses the Great, whose reign was marked by epic battles and monumental temples. Ramses II ruled for 66 years, constructing Abu Simbel, a temple carved from solid rock to honor himself and the gods. He signed the first known peace treaty in history after the Battle of Kadesh, proof that even warriors sought wisdom. Egypt stood as the world's greatest power, but even in glory, cracks were forming. Among Egypt's greatest rulers was not a man, but a woman, Hatshepsut. She defied tradition, declaring herself pharaoh and ruling in full regalia, beard, crown, and all. Under her leadership, Egypt saw peace, prosperity, and trade with faraway lands like Punt. She built Deir el-Bahri, one of Egypt's most breathtaking temples, a monument to power and elegance. But after her death, her name was chiseled off walls, her statues smashed. Even in death, politics ruled the Nile. Then came Akhenaten, the pharaoh who dared to change everything. He abandoned Egypt's many gods to worship Aten, the sun disk, the first known experiment in monotheism. He built a new capital, Amarna, and renamed himself Servant of Aten. But when Akhenaten died, the old gods returned. His son, Tutankhamun, took the throne, only to die young. For centuries, his name was forgotten, until 1922, when archaeologists uncovered his untouched tomb, filled with gold, art, and mystery. In death, the boy king became the symbol of eternal Egypt. By the 12th century BCE, the new kingdom began to crumble. Corruption spread through the priesthood. Foreign powers grew stronger. The Sea Peoples, Libyans, and Nubians struck at Egypt's borders. The Nile still flowed, but Egypt's power was drying up. Ramses III fought valiantly, but the Golden Age was over. In time, Egypt would fall under the rule of outsiders, Assyrians, Persians, and eventually, the Greeks under Alexander the Great. Centuries later, one last pharaoh would try to restore Egypt's glory, Cleopatra VII. Brilliant, charismatic, and politically shrewd, Cleopatra allied with Julius Caesar, then with Mark Antony, to keep Egypt free from Rome's grasp. But love and politics rarely mix well. When Antony's forces were defeated by Octavian, Augustus, Cleopatra saw her empire slipping away. Rather than be paraded through Rome as a trophy, she chose death, the last act of the last pharaoh. With her, 3,000 years of Egyptian rule came to an end. Egypt may have fallen, but its spirit never died. The temples of Luxor still stand. The pyramids still cast their shadows across the sands. And the ideas of the Egyptians in medicine, architecture, and the afterlife shaped civilizations for millennia. Their belief in Ma'at, the balance of order and truth, still speaks to us today. It was not just a religion, but a philosophy of harmony between humanity, nature, and the divine. To speak the name of the dead is to make them live again. And so, thousands of years later, we still speak the names of Egypt's kings, queens, and builders of eternity. Whose legacy inspires you most? Ramses, Hatshepsut, or Cleopatra? Leave your answer in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.